Knowledge Alert. 31st of December 2018 to 4th of January 2019. JHS and Associates LLP. Powering Transformational Insights. Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Exposure draft on proposed amendments to IAS 37. The International Accounting Standards Board has issued an exposure draft proposing to amend IAS 37 provisions, contingent liabilities and contingent assets. The amendments specify the costs an entity includes in determining the cost of fulfilling a contract for the purpose of assessing whether a contract is onerous. E-publication on refund under GST. The Indirect Taxes Committee of ICAI has issued e-publication on refund under GST. The publication discusses the provisions of GST related to refund and various export incentive schemes. Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India. IRDAI clarifies regarding electronic form of written mandate. IRDAI clarifies that a mandate communicated by a client to the insurance broker through an electronic form can be considered as written mandate within the meaning of IRDAI, Insurance Brokers, Regulations 2018. Securities and Exchange Board of India. Physical settlement of stocks to be made mandatory in phased manner. SEBI has issued a circular for making physical settlement mandatory for all stock derivatives. At present, stock derivatives which are being cash settled shall move to physical settlement in a prescribed manner. The circular prescribes the phased manner in which physical settlement will be made mandatory. SEBI directs 13 entities to disgorge 1.6 crore rupees. SEBI has directed Amrit Dredging and Shipping Limited and 12 other entities to disgorge unlawful gains of rupees 1.6 crores made by them while trading in scrip of Sarang Chemicals. SEBI conducted an investigation in trading in scrip of Sarang Chemicals and observed that a group of 13 entities traded among themselves, which created artificial volume and misleading appearance in trading in the scrip and resulted in increase of price of scrip. The entities offloaded shares at increased price and made unlawful gains, thereby violating the provisions of PFUTP, Prohibition of Fraudulent and Unfair Trade Practices, regulations. Therefore, SEBI directed the entities to disgorge unlawful gains along with 12% interest per annum, calculated from the respective dates of their transactions till the respective dates of payment. Sonora Media and 7 others barred from securities market. SEBI barred Sonora Media Limited and 7 others including Clifford Capital Partners for 5 years from securities market, in matter of GDR issue. An investigation revealed that GDRs worth $27.5 million were issued on Luxembourg Stock Exchange, with only one subscriber, Clifford Capital. Sonora Media had entered into agreement for subscription of own GDRs, and misled investors into believing that the issue was successful and created a false impression. Also, the company did not disclose all information about overseas investments in the annual report. Accordingly, SEBI barred the entities from securities market for 5 years for violating provisions of PFUTP, Prohibition of Fraudulent and Unfair Trade Practices, regulations. Custodial services in commodity markets to be allowed. SEBI amends Custodian of Securities regulations allowing custodial services in commodity derivatives market. At present, the regulations on Custodian of Securities provide safekeeping of securities, title deeds of real estate and incidental services. As per the new norms, existing custodians will be allowed to add commodities as an asset class, hence custodians will provide physical delivery of both securities and commodities. SEBI issues new norms for FPI, NRI fund inflows. SEBI has issued Foreign Portfolio Investors Third Amendment regulations to put in place single regime of foreign portfolio investments, FPIs, by non-residents, overseas citizens of India. The regulations provide that if single and aggregate non-resident Indian, overseas citizens of India, resident Indian holding an asset under management of FPIs are below 25% and 50% respectively, then such persons will be allowed to be constituents of FPIs. The regulations also relaxed rules for clubbing of investment limits by well-regulated foreign investors. SEBI exempts housing finance companies and NBFCs from disclosure of change in shareholding due to pledge of shares. SEBI amends substantial acquisition of shares and takeovers regulations, whereby it adds housing finance company or a systemically important non-banking financial company to the proviso to Regulation 29 of SEBI. Substantial acquisition of shares and takeovers. Regulations, 2011, as per the proviso the requirement relating to disclosure of acquisition and disposal of shares shall not apply to a scheduled commercial bank or public financial institution as pledgee in connection with a pledge of shares in the ordinary course of business. Reserve Bank of India. Amanat Cooperative Bank Limited continues to be placed under Directions US 35A of Banking Regulation Act. Amanat Cooperative Bank Limited, Bengaluru was placed under directions under Section 35A of Banking Regulation Act body directive by RBI. The directive shall continue to apply to the bank for further period of 6 months from 5 January 2019 to 4 July 2019. RBI allows one-time restructuring of MSME loans. Considering the importance of MSMEs in the economy and to create an enabling environment for the sector, RBI has allowed one-time restructuring of MSME loans that are in default but standard as on 1 January 2019. The maximum exposure to a borrower should not exceed Rs 25 crores, and such restructuring would not lead to downgrade in the asset classification. Banks and NBFCs should formulate a board-approved policy for restructuring. RBI forms Expert Committee on MSMEs. Considering the importance of MSMEs in the economy, RBI forms Expert Committee to identify the structural problems affecting micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs. The committee will also examine factors affecting the availability of finance to MSMEs. RBI releases Financial Stability Report, FSR, December 2018. RBI releases Biannual Financial Stability Report, which is a collective assessment on the risks to the financial stability and also the resilience of the financial system. Cooperative Bank penalized. RBI has imposed penalty of Rs 5 lakhs on the Mechanical Department Primary Urban Cooperative Bank Limited, Gorakhpur, UP, for violation of RBI guidelines, instructions on inspection and audit system and not adhering to supervisory instructions issued. Basic statistical returns of scheduled commercial banks in India. RBI released web publication Basic Statistical Returns of Scheduled Commercial Banks in India, Volume 47. It provides information on various characteristics of bank deposits and credit. Central Board of Direct Taxes and Customs. CBDT notifies DTAA between India and Hong Kong. CBDT notified DTAA between India and Hong Kong for avoidance of double taxation and prevention of fiscal evasion with respect to taxes on income. Procedure, formats and standards of issue of PAN. CBDT has issued notification which lays down procedure, formats and standards for issue of PAN by Income Tax Department or authorized PAN service providers. Circular on TDS from salaries under Section 192 during financial year 2018-19. CBDT has issued circular regarding instructions on the provisions, TDS rates applicable in respect of salary payment under Section 192 of Income Tax Act, 1961 during the financial year 2018-19. It also includes explanations on many other related provisions under the Income Tax Act and income tax rules. CBDT notifies procedure for obtaining nil, lower TDS certificate. CBDT has issued notification containing procedure for filing an application online, in Form 13 for obtaining nil or lower TDS deduction certificate, under Section 197, lower rate TCS certificate under Section 206C through traces. The notification also contains the procedure to be adopted by assessing officers for considering and granting certificate for nil, lower TDS deduction. Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs. Clarification regarding tax treatment under GST on certain issues. CBIC issues circular clarifying tax treatment under GST on certain issues. The circular gives clarification regarding supply of used vehicles, seized and confiscated goods, old and used goods, waste and scrap by government departments to unregistered person, levy of penalty under Section 73(11) of the CGST Act on late filing of GSTR, 3B, rate of tax in case of debit notes, credit notes issued under Section 142(2) of the CGST Act, applicability of provisions of Section 51 of CGST Act, in context of Notification Number 50, 2018, Central Tax,
Valuation methodology for GST on TCS under income tax and definition of owner of goods under Section 129(1) of CGST Act. Denial of composition option by tax authorities and its effective date. CBIC has issued circular with respect to denial of composition option by GST authorities and effective date thereof, where taxpayer has exercised option to withdraw. Export of services under GST when exporter outsources a portion. CBIC issues a circular on clarification on export of services under GST when exporter outsources portion of services contract to another person located outside India. Clarification on GST refund-related issues. CBIC has issued circular clarifying certain GST refund-related issues. Clarification on GST rates on various items. CBIC issues circular clarifying GST rates and classification in respect of goods like SATU, LPG for domestic use, woodlogs for pulping, turbocharger for railways, animal feed supplements, etc. GST tax rate for sprinkler and drip irrigation system including laterals. CBIC has issued circular clarifying GST tax rate for sprinkler and drip irrigation system including laterals. Notifications giving effect to recommendations of GST Council issued. CBIC has issued notifications to give effect to the recommendations made in GST Council meeting. The following is a list of notifications issued. Extension of time period for completing migration of taxpayers who received provisional IDs but could not complete migration process. Extension of time period for furnishing return in form GSTR 3B for newly migrated taxpayers. Extension of time period for furnishing return in form GSTR 1 for newly migrated taxpayers. Supplies made by government departments and PSS to other government departments and vice versa to be exempt from TDS. 14th Amendment to the CGST Rules, 2017, wherein, inter alia, forms GSTRFD01, GSTRFD 01A, GSTR 9, GSTR 9A, GSTR 9C are substituted. Full waiver of amount of late fees leviable on account of delayed furnishing of Form GSTR 1 for the period July 2017 to September 2018 in specified cases. Specifying the late fee payable for delayed filing of Form GSTR 3B and full waiver of amount of late fees leviable on account of delayed furnishing of Form GSTR 3B for the period July 2017 to September 2018 in specified cases. Full waiver of the amount of late fees leviable on account of delayed furnishing of Form GSTR 4 for the period July 2017 to September 2018. Extension of due date for furnishing Form ITC 04 for the period from July 2017 to December 2018 till March 31, 2019. Amending Notification Number 2, 2017, Central Taxes dated June 19, 2017. Amending Notification Number 1, 2017 Central Tax Rate, dated June 28, 2017 to change GST rates on goods as per recommendations of the GST Council in its 31st meeting. Amending Notification Number 2, 2017 Central Tax Rate, dated June 28, 2017 to exempt GST on goods as per recommendations of the GST Council in its 31st meeting. Exemption from central tax on supply of gold by nominated agencies to registered persons. Amending Notification Number 11, 2017 Central Tax Rate, so as to notify CGST rates of various services as recommended by GST Council in its 31st meeting. Amending Notification Number 12, 2017 Central Tax Rate, so as to exempt certain services as recommended by GST Council in its 31st meeting. Amending Notification Number 13, 2017 Central Tax Rate, so as to specify services to be taxed under Reverse Charge Mechanism, RCM, as recommended by GST Council in its 31st meeting. Insertion of explanation in an item in Notification Number 11, 2017, Central Tax Rate.
Due date of claiming ITC of financial year 2017 to 18 extended. Central government on recommendations of the Council has made CGST, second removal of difficulties, Order, 2018 which provides that input tax credit for the financial year 2017 to 18 can be claimed, till the due date of furnishing of the return for the month of March 2019, provided the details of which have been uploaded by the supplier, under subsection 1 of Section 37 till the due date for furnishing the details, under subsection 1 of said section for the month of March 2019. It further provides that rectification of error or omission in respect of returns for financial year 2017-18 shall be allowed till the due date for filing GSTR 1 for the month of March 2019 or for the quarter January 2019 to March 2019. Due date of furnishing annual return forms extended. Central government on recommendations of the Council has made CGST, third removal of difficulties, Order, 2018 which provides that due date for furnishing of annual returns in Form GSTR 9, Form GSTR 9A and reconciliation statement in Form GSTR 9C for the financial year 2017 to 2018 shall be 30th of June 2019. Due date of furnishing GSTR 8 extended. Central government has made CGST, fourth removal of difficulties, Order, 2018 which extends the due date for furnishing the TCS statement in Form GSTR 8 by e-commerce companies for the months of October to December 2018 till 31st of January 2019. CBIC issues IGST, Amendment, Rules 2018. CBIC has issued Integrated Goods and Service Tax, Amendment, Rules 2018, which notify the rules for determination of place of supply in case of state supply under Sections 10, 2, 12, 3, 12, 7, 12, 11, and 13, 7, of the IGST Act, 2017. Reduction in discount doesn't amount to profiteering, rules National Anti-Profiteering Authority in case of Asian Paints Limited. It was alleged that respondent Asian Paints Limited did not pass on the benefit of reduction in rate of tax of GST at the time of implementation of GST. After examination of the case, National Anti-Profiteering Authority ruled that reduction in discount doesn't amount to profiteering, as the same was offered from its profit margin by the respondent and doesn't not form part of the base price and therefore, the respondent cannot be held guilty under Section 171 of the Act. Product decalcium phosphate of animal feed grade is exempt from GST rules AAR. The applicant during the course of business of trading in various poultry feed products, imported the products D-L-methionine, sodium bicarbonate, betaine, tryptophan, threonine, lysine HCl, sodium sulfate, lysine sulfate, monocalcium phosphate and decalcium phosphate. It made an application for advance ruling to ascertain whether these products were exempted from GST. The authority for advance ruling held that the product decalcium phosphate of animal feed grade is exempted from GST. CBIC issues circulars clarifying various issues under GST, has issued following clarificatory circulars under GST. Applicability of GST on various programs conducted by the Indian Institutes of Managements, IIMs, applicability of GST on Asian Development Bank, ADB, and International Finance Corporation, IFC. Clarification on issue of classification of service of printing of pictures covered under 998,386, clarification on GST rate applicable on supply of food and beverage services by educational institution. GST on services of business facilitator, BF, or a business correspondent, BC, to banking company. Clarification on eligible duties under Section 140(1) of the CGST Act, 2017, CBIC issues circular giving clarification on eligible duties for transitional credit under Section 140(1) of the CGST Act 2017. News. NCLT allows books of EL and FS to be reopened. The National Company Law Tribunal, NCLT, allowed the Ministry of Corporate Affairs to reopen the books of Infrastructure Leasing and Financial Services Limited, EL and FS, and its subsidiaries, EL and FS Transportation Network Limited and EL and FS Financial Services for the past 5 years. This is the first instance that the government had invoked the powers under Section 130 of Companies Act 2013 To reopen the books of a company, the regulatory bodies including RBI, SEBI and Income Tax Department gave their no objection for restating the accounts. The NCLT granted relief to the auditors who had examined the books of ELNFS and its two subsidiaries, observing that they had no role in preparing them. However, it noted that the order will not have any effect on the ongoing proceedings before ICAI and SFIO probe.
For any comments, query or recommendations you can mail us on connect@jhsassociates.in or call us on 08097095060.